My name is Rebecca Swift, and my presentation is about the environmental movement. This is a very important movement that affects each and every one of us. It affects our kids, our grandkids, and all of the generations to come. It's crucial to the survival of our planet that we are aware of this movement. The environmental movement is a very broad movement that can be described as social, scientific, and political. It's mainly centered on ecology, health, and human rights, while bringing attention to problems in the environment. Everyone should be aware of these problems as they affect our Earth and our future. Ideas of saving the Earth began all the way back in 1845. An American poet, naturalist, and philosopher named Henry David Thoreau studied nature for 2 years at Walden Pond. He wanted to preserve the natural world for its beauty. It wasn't until after the Civil War that the idea spread that resources are limited, forests need to be preserved, and wildlife is being threatened. In June of 1969, the Cuyahoga River in Chicago had so much industrial waste that it caught on fire and burned. This had been the 10th time that this occurred. 7 years later, Rachel Carson, a scientist and ecologist, wrote Silent Spring, which is a book that brought attention to pesticides such as DDT, which were killing many different species of birds. Due to the increase in factories at the time, there was also an increase in smog and pollution in the air. There were oil spills occurring. People were noticing that these events were seriously hurting the environment. The first Earth Day occurred in April of 1970, which consists of events to help support environmental protection. Many different organizations started to develop. Some of these organizations include the Sierra Club, Friends of the Earth, Natural Resources Defense Council, Greenpeace, National Geographic, National Wildlife Federation, Earth First, and Heal the Bay. Books were starting to be written about recycling, vegetarianism, and the green lifestyle. On December 3, 1984, India suffered from what's considered the worst industrial accident in history. Poison gas leaks from a pesticide factory in Bhopal leaked and were spread through the city. This gas leak killed around 15,000 people and left 50,000 people with chronic respiratory conditions. Similarly, in April of 1986, there was a terrible nuclear accident in Chernobyl. This disaster was the worst nuclear power plant accident. Not only did this accident cause many deaths and sicknesses, but there were radioactive substances that spread internationally. News later spread about the ozone hole, global warming, and the rainforest clearing. In 1992, the UN held the Earth Summit where 108 heads of state met to discuss ways to protect the Earth. When Clinton was president, he curbed environmental regulations and cut programs. Then when 9/11 occurred, all focus went to war on terrorism. Bush cut budgets for the environmental movement and opened wilderness areas for gas exploration. The melting ice caps and hurricanes brought the attention back to the environmental movement. In 2006, Al Gore, a politician and environmentalist, inspired a documentary called An Inconvenient Truth, which educated people about global warming, rose awareness, and brought back the attention to the matter. Obama passed a stimulus bill in 2009 that gave money for energy-efficient homes, wind and solar power fueling, and training employees for green jobs. Global warming is the gradual heating of the Earth's surface, oceans, and atmosphere, which is caused by an increase of greenhouse gases such as water vapor, carbon dioxide, and methane into the atmosphere. Another environmental issue is the ozone depletion. In the past years, the ozone layer has begun to deplete due to gases released. This causes an increased level of UV radiation, which is a health risk to humans, animals, and crops. In addition to global warming and the depletion of the ozone layer, there are several other consequences in not caring about the Earth. Not only could the animal species become extinct, but the human race could become extinct as well. We could run out of natural resources, especially oxygen, if we keep clearing forests to build unnecessary and superfluous shopping centers. Thanks to the movement, several laws and policies have been passed. The Clean Air Act was designed to control air pollution. The Clean Water Act was designed to prevent pollution in the water, and the Safe Drinking Water Act applies to every public water system in the U.S. The Endangered Species Act protects these species from extinction, and the Healthy Forest Initiative intends to reduce destructive wildfires. As previously mentioned, Henry David Thoreau and Rachel Carson were key figures in the movement. Thoreau helped develop a plan for managing forests, and Carson's book later led to the pesticide DDT being banned. Teddy Roosevelt outlawed the use of feathers as clothing to prevent birds from being killed, set aside millions of wilderness acres, and created over 200 national forests, monuments, and parks. There were other presidents that were also helpful in this movement. Richard Nixon founded the Environmental Protection Agency. He also signed the Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, and the Endangered Species Act. Al Gore was instrumental in bringing attention to global warming with his ideas for the inconvenient truth. Last, President Obama helped fund projects for the environmental movement with the stimulus bill and helped bring attention to climate change. Since the environmental movement is so broad, there are quite a few different goals. Some of these goals include protecting natural areas and natural aspects through recycling, pollution control, and preventative medicine. Some other goals include maintaining clean water, stable population growth, and nutrition. The issues that the environmental movement covers are human overpopulation, natural disasters, ocean trash, genetic engineering, land use, waste, nuclear issues, climate change, pollution, and resource depletion. Strategies used to tackle these are spreading awareness, educating on how to help, creating and upholding policies and regulations, and funding projects to find alternative sources. With every movement, there will be those who oppose it. Some critiques of the environmental movement are that the movement is radical, misguided, and conflicts with private property rights. The opposers don't believe in global warming and believe that claims made by environmentalists are false and exaggerated. They think the movement is a waste of money and that there are more important issues to focus on. Some of these opposers have the mindset that it's not their problem, that the harmful effects won't happen in their lifetime, so they don't need to worry about it, and to just let the next generation deal with it. Anti-environmentalism is actually a movement where members persuade others against environmental spending and regulations. Saving the environment starts and ends with us. There's only one planet Earth and we can't take it for granted. Some everyday actions that we can do to help save the planet include recycling, carpooling, reusing gift wrap, buying local products, canceling paper bank statements, using solar-powered lights, taking shorter showers, walking, biking, and using reusable shopping bags.